Joining me now live from Capitol Hill, ABC's Jay O'Brien. So Jay, let's talk about how the president's plan to get rail workers that paid sick time off can actually happen. And they're demanding it. He wants to make it happen. What's the next move?
Well, that's the open question, Kira. You heard the president just there. He said the fight isn't over for paid sick leave as it relates to rail workers. And then he talked about how it was a legislative priority of his from a long-standing perspective. So the question becomes, is he referring to paid sick leave for all workers? Is he referring to paid sick leave for rail workers? What is he aiming at here? And if he's referring at the former, where does he go from there? Is it a legislative priority of his? And if so, that would be something he would have to roll out likely in the new year when there is a new Congress, and there are impediments there. There's a 60-vote threshold to pass anything in the Senate, and Democrats have a narrow majority there, so there would have to be Republican support for that measure. Plus, of course, there will be a slim House GOP majority come January.
Okay, so let's talk about why the White House felt the need to actually tap Congress to step in and help in the first place.
So the White House has said, and the president said today, this is not a position that he wanted to be in. He said, he went as far as to say it was tough for me, but it was the right thing to do at the moment. And he's referring to the idea that his calculus was he wanted to avert what he referred to as economic catastrophe that would have come if there was a rail strike. So he tapped Congress to step in. He had Congress approve that deal that was brokered by the White House between the rail companies and the rail workers. And as you had said earlier, compel those rail workers back to work without their say-so. And it's a tough position for President Biden because he has repeatedly said he is the most pro-union president, his words, in history.
And then newly elected House members now claiming that their offices, they've got them on the Hill. Let's talk about what these new members are saying about the future of Congress and getting things done. It was clearly a historical day this week when we saw Hakeem Jeffries take that position. First black male to be in charge of Congress.
Yeah, there is this new generation of House Democratic leadership. Jeffries, as you mentioned, is a good example of that. But there's also obviously a new generation of younger Democratic lawmakers as well. And you saw it, as you said, on display here when new freshman lawmakers of both parties were claiming their offices earlier this morning. They're still doing it now. We met up with one, Maxwell Frost from Florida. He's the first Gen Z member of Congress. And we wanted to ask him, as he was touring that House office building there, looking for his new office, what he thought about bipartisanship specifically in this next Congress come January. Here is what he had to say. Do you think Congress can still get things done in a bipartisan way, or is that bygone?
I think so. I mean, look at the bipartisan infrastructure bill, the bipartisan gun package that was passed. I think there's a lot of room for, working together. But we need to work at electing a majority that's actually going to deliver for the American people and not focus on Hunter Biden.
This from Republican new members as well, and current Republican members, is that he was discouraged that in the orientation for new members of Congress that there wasn't an encouragement to act in a bipartisan way, that you weren't encouraged to meet your Republican colleagues, or if you're a Republican, weren't encouraged to meet your Democratic colleagues. And as I said, that's something we've heard from a number of members of Congress and something they view as a sticking point going forward into January when they're all going to take their jobs.
All right, Jay O'Brien there on the Hill for us. Thank you so much. And newly elected Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries is going to actually sit down with George Stephanopoulos on This Week. Tune in Sunday morning, 10 Eastern, right here on ABC.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.